Hello, beautiful people. I'm back in a different environment. If you're watching on YouTube, you will see that I'm not in the same area of my house. We have transitioned to my bedroom. Yep. So you kind of see some of the similar stuff that when I first recorded this podcast, but we're back with another episode. I have honestly, I'm going to tell you the damn truth. I've been procrastinating. My boyfriend literally told me, "Can you please go record your podcast? Because we're supposed to go tough together." And if you don't know what tufting is, follow at Ronnie's Rugs on Instagram, where he posts all of his work. But yeah, he has his own business going over there. But yeah, I was procrastinating. I'm not gonna lie. I laid in this bedroom for about 2 hours on TikTok. This is exactly what I meant when I said I don't want to get stuck on this goddamn app like it's Vine. And I got stuck. I got sunk in. But welcome back. It's another week. And honestly, I guess right now we can clap it up because you know what? Consistency, baby. We're doing this. Yes, we are doing this. We are here, we're back, and we're gonna continue on with it. I don't know why I continue to hold my mic, let me just say. But we're doing it because I feel like it's gonna give me clearer sound. So as I bear with me as I figure out how I want my true setup to look. But regardless, if you're just listening in, then you just hear my voice, so it's not gonna make a difference. But I know everything I've just mentioned, there's so much change happening. Let me tell you, today I don't have tea in my cup. Today I have water because we're staying hydrated. We're staying hydrated today. So take a sip with me. Gotta do my little ASMR little bit. But today's episode, I wanted to come back and I really wanted to just talk about really where I've really truly been in life and how I've been feeling. And so I guess this is gonna be a more serious topic. So you wanna, get something to just settle in and be ready for this. You know what? Let's light some Palo Santo and let's just clear the energy and reset. Let's reset. Hold on a second. We're doing this. We are doing this. Hold on. I got a stick of Palo Santo. We're gonna light it. Hopefully you can't hear Ronnie in the background tufting with the gun. We're keeping all this in. We keeping all this in. All this raw material. Okay. We're gonna release all negative toxins and allow all positive energy to flow. Emit good energies. Okay. I'm gonna let this burn in the background. Give me some balance. So where have I truly been? I have no idea where to start. I've truly and honestly have been feeling so lost in myself. I honestly have felt myself regress in ways where it's I feel like I'm going back into depression mode, and I'm so optimistic at the same time that I won't allow myself to get to that point. I have my days where it's a bad day, but there's always a highlight in my day. I have to make sure it's the only way for me to feel like I'm pushing forward. And so yeah, I just been feeling really there's no other way to describe it. It's just me and my inner self and my inner mind just working all at once. But things are honestly getting better now, but I still have my moments. It's just my depression is not, I don't even want to own that. I'm not calling it my depression. The depression is not to the point where it's debilitating, where I'm I can't get out of bed anymore, or I can't get up and eat. It's not that. I feel like I'm doing things to help oppose that, and I feel like the gym is one of those ways because my main goal right now is obviously gaining weight and whatnot. So that requires more. It's 90% diet, 10% exercise. Um, so I've really been trying my best to eat more and be focused more on self-care in that aspect. So I feel like I've been like doing my best to not allow myself to feel like I'm in fucking shambles and like I'm a mess, but I have my moments. There's days that I'm just like, how much longer do I have to keep doing this? I'm not gonna lie. I have those days where I'm like, I just don't want to be here. But it's like, I feel like when I start doing that, I start telling myself, like, you're doing that, like, woe is me thing. You're doing that thing where you're like, you want to blame the world. I guess not blaming the world, but it's just like, why? Why me, God? Why? And I'm just like retraining my brain at this point to just like stop doing that. Like, you have so many outlets, you have so many things at your fingertips that you could be doing to occupy your mind. And it's also one of those things where I start realizing again and reteaching myself that like these are just emotions and they're going to pass. I'm going to feel better. I can feel this way in this moment, but the next moment I may have the most amazing opportunity come up and that will bring me some sort of happiness. Um so yeah, like, I'm just like really encouraging myself right now. And if any of you who are listening are feeling this way or have gotten to a point where it's just like, yo, life is becoming too much for me to handle. It's just like one of those things where you just gotta step back and you really, when you start feeling that way inside, you really have to start diving deep and you have to really start, you know, looking at your energy, feeling your energy, and understanding why you feel that way. And then problem solving and figuring out how to change how you're feeling. Because, like I said, like it's just emotions and we all go through it. And if you are suppressing your emotions, then you're not feeling them. I'm sorry. You are not feeling them. You are blocking them out. And I'm going to tell you right now, I know that feeling of blocking emotions out because I used to do that as a teenager. I think like the way that I was raised was very much so like I felt like I wasn't really allowed to be sensitive without being called sensitive and made to feel bad about it, you know? So it's like I had to like suppress a lot of my emotions and I got a lot of tough love. So it's like I had to learn, and it took me years and years and years to like stop numbing myself. And it's so funny because adjacent to that, I've been feeling like I just want to numb myself. It doesn't work. It's not helpful. It's ultimately not my goal. And I feel like it's one of those things where it's like, like how do they say it? Like, evil energy, negative energy is always there and it's trying to get you. Like, it's really up to you to block that out. It's really up to you to curate positive energy and not let your emotions get the best of you and not let, the devil's work get you, honestly. Because I feel like everybody can have those moments where they just want to give up and whatnot, but it's like you need to depend on yourself and pick yourself back up. And in the ways that you do that, you must figure out, like, by diving in deeper into yourself and looking internally, like, what is going to make me feel good? What is going to make me feel better? It can't just be, I feel like shit, so I'm gonna just sit with that for forever. It's like, if you do that, you're just gonna be miserable. And it's like, the point is to not be miserable. The point is to live and enjoy the beautiful moments of life, even when it is chaotic. It's like, you take the moment for what it is, and then you move to the next moment. Because whatever I said 10 seconds ago was already in the past, and we're here now. We're in the present. And it's like, at the end of the day, when you truly look at it, like, the past doesn't exist. It's just memories that exist. So if you feel like you're getting caught up on something from your past, it's like, it's more about not getting past your past. It's about getting through it and working through it and, diving deep into your roots, finding the root cause and literally learning from it and bettering yourself. And yeah, I don't know. Like, that's really what I've been doing internally, where I'm just like, I have those days, I have those moments, because I'm honestly like, the negativity doesn't last all day. It's just I have those moments, whether I'm going through something on my own or with people that are close to me. It doesn't matter. It's just about feeling your emotions, letting them pass, understanding them, and learning how to react to them. And also just learning how to not react to things that don't deserve a reaction. Everything I'm saying is so difficult to do. It's so difficult to learn how to do. It's so difficult to channel for the most part until you're at a point where you feel balanced. And I've been there before, so I know what it's like. And that's why I keep saying, like, I know the feeling that I'm feeling inside. I know that, I'm having my days where I'm feeling like, I don't want to do anything right now. But it's like, that's just the easy way out. And honestly, I'd rather do the things that are going to make me happy. Like, what is the point of sitting there and being miserable? Really, what is the point? So, yeah, hold on. Gotta take a sip break. Hold on. So, yeah, I think like what I've truly been doing to help me get through this stuff, and I talked about this in the last episode, is really just going to the gym. And, I want to have a whole episode about that, and just talk to y'all about how my ideology on working out has changed a significant amount, and how it's actually helped my mental health. I felt like when I was going to the gym, it wasn't helping me mentally, especially in the beginning when I was really feeling it and I was really down about it. But it's helped so much in like tremendous ways, where it's like I am getting to a point where I am addicted again to going to the gym, and I love it. And I love it. And the way that I feel going to the gym nowadays is so different than any other time I've ever gone to the gym. And I think it's all because that my perception has changed on working out and what it means to feel good while doing so. So yeah, I mean, I can also sit here and say, like, I'm really also, when I'm sitting here and I'm like, yeah, like, I feel like there's this depression coming over me. It's also because I'm not taking all proper steps. Like, I really haven't been journaling a lot, which is something that I really need to get back into doing. It's something that I remind myself about every single day. It's just me putting forth the action. And I think, like, that's the biggest issue with me right now. Like, I'm causing my own stagnancy, and it's not cute, girl. It's not cute. Like, it's to the point, like I just said when I started this podcast episode, like, I was laying in bed for 2 hours stuck on TikTok. Not to say like I was having a bad time. I was having a great ass time on TikTok, but it's also like, you gotta make sure that you're living up to your commitments to yourself, Nia. And that's what I had to remind myself, and that's what my boyfriend also reminded me of too. So it's like, I'm appreciative that, he always like pushes me to do those things. He's always been the one to also tell me, like, the days after work where I'm like, yo, I don't want to go to the gym. I honestly just want to go home and be cozy and eat food and just relax. And he's just like, no, go to the gym. And it's like, you're right. Like, sometimes it's also that part too, where it's like I have a hard time transitioning from, like, me and him had this conversation, and it made so much sense after he put it into these words. It wasn't me, it was my boyfriend. He put it into his own words and said, basically, it seems like you're having so much anxiety and you're having a hard time basically transitioning from work back into real life, but you're also having a hard time transitioning from going to work to going to the gym as well. And it took a while for me to like find the joy in going to the gym, honestly. So I just kept pushing myself to do something that I didn't entirely want, but I also had goals for like what I wanted to build on with my body, and I feel like that also encouraged me a bit. But the reason why I struggled so hard with it is because I wasn't approaching it moment by moment. I looked at everything as a whole, and that's what caused a lot of anxiety. And it's why I had such a struggle with transitioning from work to real life to going to the gym, because everything just felt like too much, and it was too many notions going through my mind, too many worries or concerns, or like I'd rather just go home and decompress. And it's like the gym is where you need to decompress, because you're gonna go home and you're gonna sit in that emotion, in that puddle of emotion, instead of releasing it. So yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know, like, if you're having that trouble as well, you have to be able to just take it moment by moment, step by step. And when I say moment by moment, I literally mean moment by moment. Not like I'm at work, now I'm going to the gym. It's like, no, right here. I'm here. I'm present. I'm podcasting. Like, okay, when it's for work, I'm out of work. I'm enjoying this walk to my car. The sky looks beautiful. Like, really take it moment by moment. It makes the biggest difference. It gives you a sense of serenity. And that's how I feel like that conversation pushed me to just keep going to the gym and stay consistent with it, because it taught me how I need to just take everything literally moment by moment. Ultimately, I feel like that conversation that him and I had really made me like be like, yo, yeah, yes, I am the cause of my own hindrance, and that goes for everybody. We all do it to ourselves. So I think it's just important that we choose to be aware of those things, and we choose to also understand that when you start feeling so down about yourself, you kind of have to pick yourself up. And the way that you do that is by doing things that you love. And that's what I did, and that's what I'm still doing. And podcasting is one of those things too that is helping me. And I just I don't have any fears. I just don't want myself to let myself fall off. Like, I just want to keep pushing myself, because number one, I know my worth. Number two, I know my determination, I know my motivation, and I also know my ideas. And number three, I'm tired of having ideas and not executing them. So we are here now, honey, and we are executing ideas. We are not being stagnant. We are not being unprogressive, or I guess the word is regressive. We are progressing. We are evolving, and we're always going to move forward, because you can't move backwards regardless. Like, there's no moving back. You would just be in the same spot. So we're moving forward. We're doing bigger and better things. And I encourage all of the listeners on this podcast, like, I encourage all of y'all to literally dive deeper into yourself, find the things that you love, and do those things. Because if you're feeling depressed, I'm gonna tell you this: doing things that you love will not feel good in the beginning, like I said, but ultimately, as time goes on, you're gonna feel a difference. You just have to believe in the process, and I feel like that's the hardest part. Believing in the process and having the patience during that time. It's like so difficult. So it's like, I get it. I understand it. I'm with you on it. But I promise you, it gets better. I promise you, you feel better. And the more that you get, like, once you nail down one thing that you really love and you do it continuously, I think my camera stopped recording. We have to pause. As I was saying, the point is to just hold on and just keep doing things that you love, because eventually it will feel good. In the moment, you're like, this shit ain't doing nothing for me. Like, why am I even doing this? Am I even actually doing proper self-care at this point? And it's like, you're just not being aware of what you're doing for yourself, and you're not gratifying yourself for taking the steps that you are taking to do the things that you love. Because at the end of the day, depression can be very debilitating. It can really make your mind negative. It can make you feel like you don't want to do anything. It can make you feel worthless. It can make you feel like you don't want to live anymore. But when you're sitting there and you're choosing to do things that you truly want to do, and things that you love to do, you will feel it in time. Especially if you're more aware to the point where it's like, I know I'm doing this thing because I love it and because it feels like self-care. When you're reminding yourself of that and you're gratifying yourself for doing baby steps in your day, you're gonna feel better. Getting up out of bed. That was a goal for today. I did it. Check. Like small things like that. Like it doesn't have to be big. Let's say like your favorite thing is to read a book. If you feel as though like your mind is so chaotic that you just can't read a book right now because of your depression and your anxiety, if you just set aside 15 minutes of just reading and make it a small goal, you'll feel good. And if you just keep doing it and then upping the time, you're gonna feel good about it. That was a really poor example. But it was a valid point. It was a valid point. But it was a poor example. It was a poor example. Regardless, I have been feeling lost, but the things that make me get back to myself is my affirmations, my gratifications, and also just being in nature, things like that, being creative, podcasting, doing anything multimedia, YouTube, and now, oh yeah, guys, I made my first TikTok. And it was to promote my last episode. So go check it out on NCV TV _. That is my TikTok name. That's my tag. Go find it. But things like that. Being creative, being in nature, being one with myself again. I feel like for a while it felt like I was like kind of disassociating with myself, and I would spend time where I would look in the mirror and like look at myself, which this is really weird, but this is really what I would do. I say it's weird, but I feel like other people probably have done this and felt this way. I would look at myself in the mirror and I would feel really unrecognizable, and I'd be looking at myself like, is this who I know? I don't know this version of myself. Am I comfortable with this version of myself? And I'm definitely not comfortable with this version of myself. And I'm still working on accepting this version of myself. But it's also like I look at myself and I'm like, you have to also understand, like, you're not going to be the same. And life is going to throw curveballs at you. And you're going to have to either get through it, work through it, or you're going to crumble. So which one would you rather? And I chose, we're not crumbling, bitch. We're getting through it. We're doing everything in our power. Me, myself, and my higher self, we are doing everything in our power to continue on and become a better version of me. Like, that's all it is. So it's like, I don't know if a lot of people do that. That's my question. Like, do people stare at themselves in the mirror and really like have a conversation in your mind? Because I also have conversations out loud by myself, which may make me sound crazy or whatever, but I don't think that's crazy. I think a lot of people do that, and I think it's a healthy thing, actually, because I felt like it does make a difference, especially when I started really saying my affirmations on a daily basis and truly feeling like I'm affirming myself. Because in the beginning of affirming, you sometimes feel like, why am I saying this out loud? I sound kind of stupid, and who's listening? And is what I'm saying like honestly true? Is this really how I feel about myself? And it's like when you start doing things like that, it makes you look a little further, you know? So yeah, I feel like my affirmations have really helped me, and sometimes it feels like they ain't gonna help me. It's the same thing of what I said about the gym. Like when I was going for a while, it didn't feel like it was helping me, but it did eventually. It did make a difference eventually. I did end up finding the joy in it, and that joy ended up creating happiness when I hear those things or see things on social media about the gym, or if I see things about affirmation. Like, it gets me excited at this point. So it's like I have made progress with that stuff, and so that's why I keep stressing the fact that I think it's very important that we encourage one another to do things that we love, especially when we're feeling down. Like, it's so important. And I can give you examples of affirmations that I say to myself daily. Most times, you know, I going with the intent of just making sure that I make myself feel good and I make myself feel loved. So I love to say the things that I am. And I don't say it in a way of like, let me just give the example. So if I'm like in the morning, sometimes I'm waking up in bed and I'll say them out loud, or it's more so like when I'm on my way to work and I'll be like, talking to the universe, God, and I will just also go in and probably talk about my worries, my concerns, but then also affirm that everything's going to be okay. And then go into my affirmations where I'm like, I am confident, I am loved, I am love, I am kind, I am caring, I'm intelligent, I am I am powerful, I am wealthy in all aspects, I am healthy, I am like, I don't even know. Like, I just keep going. Like, I will take pauses in between too to just like take the moments to think about things that I've done that where I feel like, let me acknowledge that about myself. What did I do in my previous days? Like, I am patient. Like, there's just certain affirmations that I feel like are important for me to say daily so I can remind myself of all the good things that I am. But when I also say my affirmations, I also remind myself that I'm human and I remind myself that I am good and bad and I'm not like perfect. Nobody's perfect. So I say a whole bunch of positive things, but I also reaffirm the fact that like I'm not perfect. So there is a point of dichotomy. Like there is no such thing really as good or bad. Like we are just what we are. And I think that's important because I feel like a lot of people end up looking down on themselves or looking back at certain situations and then feeling like a horrible human being. But it's like you're just a being. There is no reason to beat yourself up over a mistake or beat yourself up over something that you may consider an embarrassment or you may consider bad, because at the end of the day, it's an opinion. Good and bad is an opinion. So, yeah, I think it's important that we remind ourselves of that too. We remind ourselves that we're just human and that we're not perfect and it's okay. So, yeah. I don't know. This feels like a little rambly episode. I hope like you guys are enjoying and this isn't boring. If it is boring, I'm sorry. We will do better. that's that's the motto right now. Do better. Period. Do better. Um um you know, another thing that I really want to talk about too is learning how to really get through your emotions. The way to do that, like I said, is also like letting yourself feel them, um, but also like letting yourself release them. It's okay to feel them, but you don't want to feel your emotions for too long. Like feel them in that moment and then let them pass. Don't let it linger into the next day. And it's easier said than done, but the way that I let my emotions be felt is literally if I like for example, like this doesn't happen every time, but if I'm angry, I will journal about it or scream into a pillow, take a ride and scream out fucking loud. Like I don't care. Like if that's what I'm feeling, that's what I'm feeling. I'm going to feel it and let it pass. I'm not going to hold a grudge on it and just keep my mind in a negative space. I'm going to move forward but understand why I feel the way I feel. And the way I do that is by first acknowledging I have the emotion. And then the next step is figuring out how I want to express that emotion. Is it worth me expressing it to someone else, or is it worth me just figuring out a way that I am feeling like I'm physically expressing it? So, like I said, like screaming into a pillow or something, or even like if there's these days where it's just like you just need a good cry, let it out. Like these are physical expressions of your emotions, and it's a way for you to cope with them, and it's a way for you to relieve it without you taking it out on somebody else. So it's like you acknowledge your emotions, you express it in a physical form, And the way that I said I do that is either, like, if I'm angry, screaming it out into a pillow or journaling, or if I'm sad, crying it out. And then the next step is to actually understand why I feel the way I feel, and also not feel bad about feeling the way I feel. Because sometimes we also have those moments where we're like, okay, like, maybe I was dramatic, but like, that's how I felt in that moment. Like, maybe it comes off dramatic, but that's how I felt. And it's not actually you being dramatic, it's you being human. And it's okay. It's perfectly fine. As long as you're not hurting anybody or doing anything crazy to anybody, it's okay to feel your emotions and let them pass. But in my experience personally recently, I also feel like with me trying to be very optimistic, I've been suppressing my emotions in certain instances where I feel like I try to give in so hard to my depression, or the depression. We said we're not calling it the depression. And then I try so hard to give in, and I let myself give into it for a little bit, and then I'm like, yo, what am I doing? Like, I can't do this. Like, this is such a negative space. Like, I want out. Like, this is not feeding me in the ways that I need it to. So this isn't helping me. Why am I even allowing my mind to get to this point? And then I come to a point where I'm like, this is not worth it. And then I exit out. It's like, no, we're not doing that with ourselves. We're gonna choose to feel positive if we can, and find things that are going to change our mood, because at the end of the day, all of this is choice. Choosing to be optimistic, it like I said, it's a choice. Like, choosing to be depressed is also a choice. It's just the fact of, like, when you are feeling that way, it's so hard to turn your brain around and get the positive side working. So it's not impossible. It's just, it takes work. It takes effort. It takes time, and it takes patience. It takes a large amount of patience with yourself. So I guess my whole point of this episode is to just say, be patient with yourself, be kind to yourself, and know your worth. And that's really it. Like, that's all I really got to say about that. You just need to be you and feel good about yourself. You only got one you, and nobody else is living in your brain. And if you're trapping yourself in your mind and making yourself feel bad, saying self-deprecating things, then how do you expect it to get better, you know? But I'm saying that as someone who has gone through depression for a long time, from teenage years into adult years, and then found what worked for me. And like I said, even now, I don't think I'm depressed like that. I think that I have moments where I feel those same emotions that used to overcome me, where I used to feel extremely overwhelmed, and I get it now, and I get how to get through it, and I know what works for me. So I'm just encouraging everybody to do the same. Figure out what works for you. Make sure you identify the emotion. Make sure you express the emotion in a way that is safe and in a space where you feel secure. And then obviously you need to sit with your emotions, understand it, and then move past it. Well, not move past it, work through it. I don't want to say move past it, because it's not forget. It's not forget it. It's work through it. Because those emotions, if you keep suppressing them, will just come back up. It's something I've learned over the years. So it's like, handle it when it comes your way. And honestly, like I said, be loving towards yourself, be caring, think about your needs, prioritize you first, because no one else is going to do it. And you only have one you. You have one mind, one body, and you're only here for a limited amount of time on this earth. I feel like our souls are infinite. That's another conversation. But yes, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Be sure to look in the bio for social media links and whatnot. I didn't say this in my last episode, but I guess we'll do a little promo, you know. Again, make sure you follow my boyfriend's Instagram page at Ronnie's Rugs, RONNIESRUGS. And hopefully on YouTube, I will make an actual video of us tufting, because he wants me to stop podcasting right now so I can go collaborate with him. Well, he doesn't want me to stop podcasting. He just wants me to finish this episode so we can do a little collaboration rug. And yeah, I hope you guys really enjoyed. I hope that you all are doing well and taking care of yourselves and living life to the fullest. Feeling like you're living in luxury even if you can't do it monetary wise. Always live in luxury, baby. All right, guys, I'll see you next week for another episode. Thank you for tuning in to Speak Your Truth with NCV, and I'll see you next week. Bye.